Welcome to the stream. Welcome. So good. Today, we're not going to do any personals. Today's just a collective reading. We've got the moon moving into Aquarius very soon. Right now, it's at the end of Capricorn. I did a reading. This is like very well placed. If you're on YouTube or you're watching the playback on YouTube, or you want to go check the YouTube out if you're watching on TikTok, there's a reading I did right before Pluto entered into Aquarius. It was still in Capricorn. And I have a feeling that this reading is going to be akin to that. So hello to you. Hey everybody, welcome in. So let's just read today's collective space. Let's read, let's see what's up. I just felt like we needed to get on. I needed to get on, you know, if you're here, welcome. But we needed to get on and read some stuff. What do we need to see? Leading with the heart. Actually, this is not the deck. Hold on. Okay, talk about leading with the heart. Let's read with a different deck. Hold on. Let's get into it. I want to do, let's look at the magic deck. I have this magic oracle deck, and it's usually pretty handy for looking at the kinds of magic that are necessary and things that are kind of coming up. So let's look at it. Feels like there's gonna be a different, hello, hey guys, welcome in, hello. What else do we need to see? Something about magic. The magic is changing. You know, the gears are turning. They are there, that's for sure. Knowledge. Okay, so we're gonna get some information grounding in this reading. I feel like that is obvious. Is it obvious? I feel like that's obvious. So knowledge of what though? Let's see. Sometimes that happened in a reading recently. I think it was like a couple days earlier this week. Whenever it was, I don't know, but something came through and I was like, duh, like, why are you telling me this? Oh my goodness. Oh, thank you. You too, you know. Good. What's up? Okay. Oh, we've got a couple that are coming out. Okay. Also, it's going to be knowledge that we can't see yet. Hidden knowledge, secret knowledge, secret knowledge, secret knowledge. Clock it. Secret knowledge, sacred heart. Oh, interesting. A sacred space that you can't yet see. A sacred space. For now, leave that be. Okay. Something about not being banished from the sacred heart. Having a sacred heart and then not being banished from it. A sacred heart grounding that you can't be banished from. That sounds lovely, actually. A sacred heart grounding that you can't be banished from. Like creating your heart as sacred and then you can't be banished from it. Talk about, that is a sacred space. Also, I feel like this is going to be like a new thing because, and the bottom is journey. That's beautiful. There's a buck and an owl. That's a really pretty card if you want to look at it. It's so good. Yeah, that is mine. I just did it the other day. Thanks for that. You know? So it's going to be a little bit, it's going to be a little bit different with the sacred space. It's like all the work that we've done to make sure that we can't be banished from ourselves. Hello. Yeah, we can't be, hi, hey, we can't be banished from ourselves is working. It's working. You're going to have a sacred place for your heart. You can't see it yet, or you're like, wow. Especially for people who are still uncomfortable in situations that they're in, or if you're still not feeling like you're maybe at home all the way, or feeling like, you know, just feeling like things are not where they need to be yet. Okay, feeling like things are not where they need to be yet. Hi to you too. Then we're gonna have a sacred heart space, safe space come through. That's good. Secret knowledge being revealed. This is also someone that's very concealed. This is if you're someone who is very like you have a lot of layers of protection in your practice, or you like are to yourself, or you don't really talk to anyone, like there's a cover over you. You know, if you're someone who practices with a cover over you, there's a lot of ways that could be interpreted. But if you got a cover over you, interesting. This is applicable. There's more to this. Hold on. There's more to it. So we've got sacred space for the sacred heart. So much sacredness. Sacred space for the sacred heart. What else do we need to see? This is about a brand new start. Something you've been asking for, something you've been wanting, something you've been wishing for, something you've been confronting in yourself, something that you're treasuring also. Okay. Guiding yourself through divination. That's an interesting card for divination. She's sitting in a circle. She has like a whole circle of cards around her. Interesting. She's sitting in the middle. Different ways to divinate. What else needs to be seen about this? Guide. All right, let's pull some other cards from another deck because I feel like this one, love you card deck. I feel like that's some obvious answers. You know what I mean? That felt obvious. Let's pull some from the fate. You know? Let's do some from the fate readings. Hello to you too. Hello. What else do we need to see about this collective energy that's coming through? Okay, these readings are gonna be about the world. The world? Let's see. The world. What do we need to see about the world? Something not committed. It's like we're breaking up. The world is breaking commitments. Okay, so contracts, breaking commitments, contracts, bindings are being broken in the world. Okay. Hello to you too. Hello to you too. Okay, okay. What else? A transition from sometimes be a hermit, sometimes be out. Sometimes be a hermit, sometimes include yourself in places with people. Sometimes be a hermit. It's like a flow back and forth. I'm seeing someone be by themselves and then be in the group and then be by themselves and be in the group. So it's like, a simple back and forth. It doesn't feel complicated. It's just a simple back and forth. There's a lot that just came out. Okay, hold on. What are you forging? There's a creative process that you're undergoing in the world. This is like more on an individual level. A creative process that you're undergoing. Or sometimes you need to be by yourself, sometimes you need to be with people. Something you're creating out of that too. Think about the magic of what happens if you like are by yourself and then you intertwine yourself with other people, and then you're by yourself and then you intertwine yourself with other people. The isolation gives you time to be more like secret. It gives you time to kind of harvest from the places that you've been with other people. And then when you go out with other people, it's like a harvest of what you were doing by yourself. And then you can have the opportunity to share with others if you need to, big love from Australia. Hello, welcome in. It's so good. Oh, wow. The world breaking contracts. It's like something the world's undergoing right now. Look at what's happening. We're breaking contracts. That's Pluto in Aquarius. That's part of the energy of Pluto in Aquarius. Breaking contracts. We're breaking contracts. Breaking contracts in the sense that we've signed up for this and been signed up for it for a long time, and it's not valid anymore. The contracts are breaking. Social contracts, written contracts, social standards, the way that we socially accept things. The world is very different now than it was even like 6 years ago. Okay, there's something else with this before we pick it up. What else do we need to see about this? Change and creativity, creating change. Okay, so creating change through the world, creating change in the world. The minds are changing. People's minds are changing. The mother's minds are changing. The mother's minds. Okay. Let's pick these up. The mother's minds are changing. The mother's minds. The collective minds, the mother's minds. Mothers usually are like a start for a lot of like, there's a lot of mother mind changing. Mothers and the minds of the mothers. The mothers usher in new life. You know what I mean? The mothers usher in a lot of newness. They usher in the life. They usher in the kids. They usher in the change. So if the mother's minds are changing, then what's ushered into the world will be different. Mothers' minds are changing. It's like a collective generational thing. The minds of the mothers. Those who could be mothers, those who will be mothers, those who might be mothers, those who already are mothers. The mother minds are changing. Mother minds are changing. So, there's a... Okay then, a change. There's a change. There's a change. And that just needs to be. Hello to you too. That just needs to be. Starts the effects of the mere gathering. The lovers, no more. That's what I care about that. The lovers, no more. Sometimes we gotta put it down. That's actually something that Spirit's been having me do in my practice recently. Put down the lovers. Stop thinking about the lovers. Stop trying to have, Spirit's also been showing me in places, because I'm really big on love. I love love. I love being in love. I love practicing in love. Love is a really big part of my world, and love is a really big part of my practice. The Mother Sacred Hearts cannot be banished. You know what? Thankful for that. Thank you. Interesting. The lovers, done with the lovers, done with the lovers. And Spirit's been showing me recently, let me relate to this for a second. Spirit's been showing me recently all of the people that I've left because I no longer love them, but I didn't at the time understand that I didn't love them anymore. So Spirit's been helping me identify what it looks like to not love someone anymore, or identify in other people when they don't love me anymore, because it's kind of both, you know, it goes back and forth. So it's like the lovers are done. There's love that's being removed, love that was that no longer is, love that could have been that no longer wants to be. It's like the love is done, the love is over, the love is done. And not in the sense that the love is like forever done. It's not that love is forever done, because we need love. Love heals us, love loves us, love lifts us up, you know what I mean? But there's like, you can't give it to everyone, and you can't have it in every situation. No more new perspectives. All right, well then let's call that one done. Let's call that one through. You know, what else we need to see? What else we need to see about it? For now, I'm gonna leave that one actually. Hold on. For now, I'm gonna leave that one. What else? It's 3 of Cups, 4 of Cups, 3 of Cups. The weaving. Something you've woven is grounding. Okay. Something you've woven. Okay, let's talk about it. Thanks, Magic. Thank you, Magic. Something you've woven is grounding. A forging creation. This is something that's taken years, layers of weaving. So it's like not just one spell. This is for people who've been working on things for years now. It's like layers of spell work, or layers of practice, layers of altar. It's like I'm seeing people who have like layers and layers and layers, like so many that you couldn't count. Layers and layers and layers and layers and layers and layers and layers. Layers and layers. Good. Okay, so then we have a world. It's a fate. Fate. Because think about that. Think about what happens if you yourself as an individual are at the altar and you're weaving things and you're layering things and you're weaving things and you're layering things and you're doing that for years and years and years and years and years and years, however long you've been practicing, right? Now think about all the other people in the world who are also doing that. Years and years and years and years and years and years. You think about collectively how many years of layers that there are between practitioners. The world is changing because of the practices that have been restarted. Think about how many of you come from families, because I know I do. Think about how many of you come from families where there were no practitioners before you in the recent years. You are the first person in a long time to pick it up. Or the people who have maybe advanced practices from the people that you come from, even if they did have practices. Maybe it's different. Maybe you're rearranging things. I know for myself, I'll speak on that. I practice more than in the spirit, in the magic, and that kind of work, more than the people who come before me, most of them. And for the people who do practice in the spirit who come before me, I practice very differently than they do. Very differently than they do. So the world thing, and now it's like, hello, we're sitting on the internet talking about, you know, magic and things. So, and it just got real quiet. Did you hear that? My air turned off. That's crazy. Okay. Well, the air in the apartment, I turned off. Okay. So we have this like trending spirituality. Think about, because magic takes time sometimes, you know? Magic takes time sometimes. There's things I've done 12, 13, 14 years ago that haven't grounded until now. There's things that I've done forever ago that haven't grounded until now. Magic takes time sometimes. And it's supposed to be that way, because if you could do a spell right now and you had the answer 30 minutes from now in like the big stuff, the stuff that should take a while, that needs to take a while, it would be chaos in the world. It would be chaos, destruction, even more than it is right now. I mean, we got enough, okay? We got enough. We have enough of that. Let's be. So let's think about the layers, because before I got on the live stream, I was like, there's gonna be some messages about some different things. That's why I wanted to get on. I was like, we gotta read in the collective kind of space just to see what's up. So, okay. So we've got all these new practitioners, so many new practitioners, practicing for the first time again in their families and altering the practices of what has come before them. Things are gonna, give it some time. There's gonna be a lot of change in the world. Give it some time. There's gonna be a lot of change in the world. even if you haven't been practicing a lot of like collective magic or like things that are collective magic, you know? So, what else do we need to see about it? Only one option. Some of us were given only one option. Oh my God. We are going to talk about that? Okay, yeah, we can talk about that. Some of us were given only one option. I'm going to speak on my direct story. Relate how you need to. I know looking at my fates, hello to you too. I know looking at my fates, looking at what I've come from, looking at my family, looking at the way that my life has been, I had no other option to get here except for the way that I got here. That was it. There's maybe some different side routes I could have taken along the way, but for what I am, for where I am, for who I am, I couldn't have been this, who I am, here sitting in front of you, witnessing me, without the road that I have walked, and it was a one-track path. That was it. That was it. There was no getting off. There was no denying it. It had to be that way. It had to be that way. I was born of magic, and it had to be the way that it was for me to be able to sit in what I do now. So a lot of us were only given one option, one choice. Okay, why do we need to know that though? A lot of us, it's because like, think of this too, is like all of these years and all these generations that haven't practiced magic and haven't had a spiritual practice and haven't been sitting in their rights in the spirit, because that's Neptune and Aries, haven't been sitting in the rights in the spirit. Thank you, spirit. And may there be rest for that, how it needs to be, where it needs to be, when it needs to be, and why it needs to be. All right, because that's not up to me. There's been generations and generations collectively that have rested in the practice of spirit, rested in the practice of spirit. So it's like a lot of us were born in a way where to be able to be a practitioner, we had to sit in the rights in a one-track path. We only had one option, and the only option was to pick up magic again. The only option was to start practicing again. That was the only option. It was the only option. Okay, but it was the only option, and because of it, there's harmony that's going to be created out of it, because now there's a lot of people who are picking up and doing the work that hasn't been done for generations. It's been hard work. It's been a lot of work, but it's been done. It's been doing also. Like, people are still in the process of it. We're still here living, you know. So something you created through your practice of being, it was the only option. You had to pick it up. You had to become a practitioner. Okay. Now, because of that and the magic you've been practicing, something is coming to ground on the earth. Something is coming to ground of birth. There's a new world coming in. Okay, but we talk about, because I want to get rid of the cliche, it's a new world order or new world. Not like that. Not like that, okay? It's a new world in the sense that things change. Things change. We still live in the same world, but there's new order in the world. It's different. There's a difference between those two. Something else before we pick this up. Hold on. Lovers grounding. It's like, remember earlier I said we're done with love? Done with love. That's because think about the evolution. Interesting. Huh. Remember I said the lovers are done? It's like not everything can be done in love. Because I know for myself I've had to learn a lot about love, because I come from a place where there wasn't a lot of it. I come from a place where there wasn't a lot of it. So I've had to learn about what it is to love and why I love and where I love and when I love and how I love, and how to make sure that love is protected. But for the lovers, sometimes the work needs to be done outside of love. Sometimes the work needs to be done and it needs to be serious, it needs to be stern, and love can't necessarily be there. Sometimes love is stern and love is serious, but there is different energies to it. There's different energies to it. So something that's being done out of love, because look at the world, okay? Look at the world. We got stuff being done that is not in love, and a lot of it. So to, you know, the balance, keeping the balance, it's like learning how to love, learning when to love. Why would we love? Is love necessary in those situations, or does it need to be handled outside of love? Because sometimes it needs to be handled outside of love. Imagine somebody doesn't like you and then you're going to handle them and you're going to love them. That would be the people-pleasing energy. I'm not, on my personal level, I'll speak for myself, I'm not doing that anymore. If somebody doesn't love me, I'm not going to offer love to them, because I know that my love is a gift. I know that my love is a gift, so I'm not giving it to somebody. I'm not gonna give it to somebody if they don't love me too. In my experience, and this is something I'm learning recently, you can't just walk around giving your gifts to everybody. You can't just walk around giving your gifts to everybody. The fact that you exist in the world is a gift. That in itself is enough. That in itself is enough. So you don't have to do anything extra. You don't have to give anything extra. You just have to exist and you have to be, and that's it. That's it. That's it. That's enough. That is enough of a gift for the world. So when it comes to the lovers being done, people who handle, I'm going to speak on us, people who handle us out of love, okay, well then it would make sense that we would return something that is not in love then. Okay, you want to handle me out of love? I'm going to handle you out of love too then. You want to handle me out of love? Then I know how to work that. Thank you very much. Okay, hold on before we pick these up. Okay. Okay. Minds are changing. We cannot see. Think about the way that your magic affects other people for a second. Without you even really trying to do it, you know? Without you even really trying to do it. Your magic affects other people. You exist in the world and you practice. You exist in the world and that is enough. And then you exist in the world and then you practice? Oh, okay. It took me a long time to be okay with the fact that me being a practitioner was going to change things around me. Sometimes weird stuff happens that I don't really have anything, like I don't have control over it, but spirit needs me to go through it. And sometimes that involves the people who are around me or the people that are like near, whatever, you know, it depends on the situation. It depends on yeah, thankful for it too. It's true. Thankful for it too. So if you're a practitioner, think just for a second for yourself. Think about the way that your magic affects other people. Think about the way that it interacts with their life. Think about the things that change because you practice. Oh, okay, crazy. So that means if you're a practitioner, the minds of others are changing. I know one thing that happens before I show up somewhere is people start to think about me. Before I show in the physical, I don't know if it happens on the internet too, but I know that because it's been confirmed. That happens. If I'm about to go somewhere, I've already made the decision, I'm getting ready, I'm getting prepared. Okay, well then whoever's there is probably thinking about me. Whoever's involved in that situation, they're probably already thinking about me. I know that because I know how my magic works in that sense. I've seen it, I've had it confirmed, I know what's going on. So think about the way that your magic alters other people. That's crazy. That's first of all, that's crazy. Secondly, that's crazy. And being able to define that crazy, that form of crazy, that sort of crazy, that your magic alters other people, being in that form of crazy and understanding it, because it's different. To be in it is one thing, to understand it is another. And understanding it means that you understand how it works. I'm going to use the example, people think about me before I show up somewhere. Why does that work? What's the magic behind it? Because if you can understand the magic behind it, you can understand your right. Why does your practice work like that? Why does your magic work like that? You're understanding your spiritual gift. You're understanding your spiritual right. I made a video about this yesterday, kind of. When you understand your spiritual right, okay, well then you know, and that's it. It needs to be a little bit more concealed. That's what keeps you protected. Everybody's gifts work differently. Everybody's gifts work differently. Something being created, the masculine creating. The Empress is weaving things behind the scenes. The Empress is weaving things behind the scenes. Whoa, what are you doing, Empress? Interesting. Love you, Empress. Okay, the Empress is weaving things behind the scenes. Learn how your magic works for you, how you need to. Not just how to use the gift, but why the gift itself works. Why does the gift itself work? Why does the magic work? How does it work in our world? With our elements, with our human? How does it work? How does it work? Because the Empress is weaving something behind the scenes that the masculine helps to ground. So if you're balanced within or activating both feminine and masculine within yourself, which I sit in as a practice and agree with, then, because I know my feminine does stuff behind the scenes and then my masculine earths it. Earths it? That's a new one. Earths it. My masculine earths it, brings it here. My feminine weaves it and works it and does whatever it needs to do, and then my masculine grounds it. Here we go. We're going to learn about it. We're going to sit in it on the earth, on the land. It's here now. But if you learn about how the magic actually works, then you know what the union between the feminine and the masculine actually looks like. And if you learn that on an individual level, that's one thing. If you learn about it on a collective level, that's something similar but different. Because you could look at that too, especially if you're someone who has gifts that change other people or like change the environment around you. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna pick these up now. Oh my goodness gracious. You know, thanks for that. So good. You know, don't put your honey on ash. I did say that. I was thinking about that recently, actually. Don't put honey on ash. Don't put honey on trash. Yeah, I was thinking about it within the previous 24 hours. Crazy. What else do we need to see? Order. Oh, we're already gone. We can't see it, but we're already gone. Oh my goodness. We're already gone. Religion. There's... Oh, I like kind of don't even want to look at it. Like I know that I'm going to, but I don't really want to look at it. It's like the order, let me look over here. That's fine. The order that we've been in on like I'm going to air quote this, religious level, or like the order of secret societies, the order of just how society interacts with spiritual stuff. There's a lot of different ways that happens on like a purely magical space. On a purely spiritual space. That's why I bring up things like religion. Because that's a way that people interact in a system, specifically with spirituality. But it's different than only religion. And that's why when it's like, we've already left the old. We can't really see it yet, but it's already done. The world has already done enough destruction work. That's it. It's over. So that now it's reconstruction. Now it's like at this time, and I've been saying this for a couple months now, we're in this time of like, I don't want to call it chaos, but it's kind of lawless. We're in this kind of lawless time of magic and of spirit, where we don't really have a lot of like, I'm going to air quote this again, spiritual laws. Like we don't have a lot of spiritual laws. We do, because laws in the spirit cannot be avoided. They're always going to be there. But think about how many generations of practitioners have grown up without people who practiced before them, or the practice that has been practiced before them they don't agree with. It's quite a few. It's quite a few. So we've got that layer to it. Then there's people who come from practitioners who have like a base foundation, but even then there's changes going on because the world is changing. It's different now. And then we have the deconstruction of religion. You see people on the internet talking about healing from religious trauma and healing from the religion that they were in, healing from the spaces that they've been in. Like that's changing. Secret societies that used to need to be secret are not so secret anymore. We're on the public internet right now. Do you see this? Do you see these? Do you see these cars? Do you see these crazy tarot? You know, it is. We're on the public internet right now. But we haven't yet established a new order. We're in the middle where we don't really have one. We do because it's there, but we don't. We haven't established it within maybe like a hierarchical sort of sense, or within like some sort of like structure or institution sort of way. It hasn't been established yet. It hasn't been grounded yet. We're in the process of it, but we're not there yet. Honestly, that's probably going to be Pluto and Pisces. That's probably going to be Pluto and Pisces. Because that's crazy. Pluto and Aquarius is the change of the air. What you did say. Grandfather and father would let the sun play, but they're still watching. Yeah, I did say that. I did say that. I sure did. Oh my goodness. Because it is. Thank you. Is it Yuna? I hope that's right. If not, then thank you. Thank you either way, if I said it correctly or not. Thank you for reminding me of that. Because I was thinking about like the Pluto and Aquarius space before we got on to the reading. And not me playing with my hair. Goodness gracious. Whatever. Anyways. Yeah, it's like they're still watching. They're still watching from inside. So it's like, what are we gonna do with it, and how are we gonna create with it, and what's gonna be done with it, and how is it gonna be done? I know for me, I've been thinking on a very individual level, and being on that individual level and thinking on an individual level, like how am I gonna keep my practice? What's the order that I'm gonna keep my practice? Because I just kind of got the go ahead recently to have a lot of change come through with the practice that I've been practicing. It's like I've been in a certain order for a while, and now I can I can rest it. It can be done, and I can move on into something different. So I've been thinking about this a lot on an individual level, and I've been thinking about it a lot on a societal level because we're about to have Saturn and Neptune retrograde conjunct at 1 degrees in Aries, which is like the birth of new spiritual order. Something ignites this summer, and then we'll have another crossing of it next year, and maybe 2027 too. For however long Saturn is in Aries also, which I think is through 2028. I don't know the exact date, but that's going to be if you're looking for like an astrological time frame, that's helping us get the new order set up. And then for the rest of Neptune and Aries, it's going to be like an energy that carries us in and carries us through. And then we have Pluto that'll go into Pisces, which will be the power of our spiritual sacrifices and the power of our spiritual transition. So give it another 20 to 40 years in the new like societal order. This is like really long term, but you know what, that's all right. The new societal order of what spiritual structures look like will start to actually be established. We'll have more of an air quote establishment. It'll be established. This is long term. I said recently it's time to start playing the long game. I don't know if you guys watched that video. I don't even remember what video it was, but it's time to start playing the long game. Okay, yeah, I've been thinking about that a lot with what the spirits have been bringing me. Play the long game. So I have been, and I do recommend it. Playing the long game, looking at how your practice in the long term is going to impact you and impact society. That's kind of crazy. You know, a few days ago, yeah, it was a few days ago. It was a few days ago, you know, it was a few days ago. Oh, thanks for that. Yeah, it was a few days ago. That's honestly kind of crazy. Play the long game. I have been looking at that because I've been looking at what the spirits have been bringing to me, and I've been looking at long term, what am I going to be and how. Let it go then. Oh, interesting. A whole well? A well. A whole fate. What? Hold on, because the box moved. And it's the fate deck. And when you have the well of fate, something's coming up from it. At least that's how I read it. Something goes in, something goes into the well. It's like when you that was kind of loud. When you toss a coin into the well, you make a wish. That's signifying. That's like a magical practice of paying fate for something. Paying fate for something, asking for your wish to come true, and then things rearrange based on what you do. Things rearrange based on what you do. So wishes of fate, wishes of fate right now are long term. This is not something, they're always long term, but wishes of fate right now are long term. They're not something that's going to be like in a year, 2 years, 3 years. Sometimes I feel like an energy that we had maybe like 7, 8, 9, 10, 15 years ago is a little bit different. We have fate that moved a little bit quicker, swifter. Maybe that's just my experience, but things are changed now. It's like, okay, things need to slow down. They need to be changed in like in a longer time period. It needs to take time. And I've been thinking a lot about that in the sense of the world recently in society. It's like things need to take a long time to change, just because if you had everything change all at the same time, that's not to say, how do I say this? Let me just follow my train of thought. Thank you. Things take a long time to change because then it can actually be, this is very Saturn, Capricorn, 10th house related. If things take a long time to change and things take a long time to be constructed, not only can you make sure that there's like meticulous foundations, not only can you make sure that it is like a meticulous space of creation, it's also more opportunity to be protected. It's more opportunity to be well directed. And how do I explain this? How do I explain this? Please allow me to explain this in love, truth, free, and honor. Okay. That's true. Hold on. Let me sit with this for just a second. Oh. The quicker things change, sometimes the more pain there is. Sometimes we need change because there is pain. Look at what we're going through in the world right now, okay? Sometimes we need change because there is pain. And sometimes the quicker the change, the more pain is brought on because the change is happening at a quick pace. And so it's like a back and forth. It's a back and forth of understanding where we're at, understanding what we're in, and then asking for change again. But the change and the change, they go together. And the change, the change has to be sometimes in a way that, like if you were to build, think about it like this. If there's a skyscraper, like you can't build that overnight. If you tried to build that overnight, it's gonna collapse. Probably guaranteed, you know? So when you're trying to build things in a societal foundation, because that's Pluto and Aquarius, is society's foundation. It's not just the systems and the institutions, it's society, the way that people are connected to each other. Not how the institutions are connected to people, not how the hierarchies are connected to people, but how the people are connected to people. We're connected to each other through institutions, and that's part of the reason Saturn is also included in Aquarius, and also it's how the people are connected to people. How are we connected to each other? What does that connection look like? You know? And this is the 11th house is like the farmers that we get our food from, you know, the people who work at the grocery stores. We don't really know those people if you're not involved in those systems or involved in those spaces. It could be restaurant workers, it could be baristas, it's the lawyers, it's everyone in their position in society. It's the stay-at-home moms, you know, it's the moms who have a job and a career and are also doing their thing. Like everyone has a place. And how we interact with each other and how we create change individually and then alter that change together, that's more Pluto and Aquarius related. So going back to the grandfather and the father are letting the kid play outside. I said that in a reading a long time ago. It was Pluto and Aquarius related. That's Pluto, and maybe it was a podcast episode. It was on the internet somewhere coming off my tongue. Okay, so and Pluto and Aquarius, that relation of Pluto and Aquarius, it is the Uranus and Saturn, both of them. It's the grandfather, Uranus, the father, Saturn, and then the kid outside playing. We're the kids in this situation. We're the children of the earth, playing around, figuring out what are we going to create, how are we going to make it, because Pluto, relative to the child in this metaphor, analogy, space and situation, if they're outside and maybe they build a garden and they decide they're going to build a garden, that's beautiful. Maybe they sit there and they just burn everything that's in the backyard. That's kind of crazy, but you know what? It could be that they decide to leave the backyard and go hang out with their friends. There's a lot of different ways that maybe they put up a swing set. Maybe there's so many different opportunities and options. So it's like right now we've been given kind of free reign. Go do what you want. Go figure it out. You already have this system set up. There's already like limitations on things, right? There's a whole entire society where there's systems and institutions that are connected to each other. So what are you going to do with it? So the Pluto, the children, us, we get sent out. We're not Pluto, but Pluto is its own being. But in, again, relation to the analogy, we've been sent outside. Okay, go create something. And Saturn and Uranus are watching. What are they going to do? How are they going to do it? What is it going to look like? And I know for me, I've been connecting with, because Saturn is time, structure, and order. So I've been connecting a lot with time, structure, and order. And then Uranus is the primordial creativity, the nature creativity. It's part of the reason that the chaos and the unpredictableness is around right now. So I've been connecting kind of with both of them, looking at the order, and then sometimes things are unpredictable. Looking at the order, and then how could things be unpredictable? What does that look like? Sitting with both of them. It has to be both of them. And we have to be able to kind of look, at least for me, this is how I think about it. We have to be able to look at kind of both of them. What are those perspectives? What are those perspectives? How are we going to move with it? How are we going to groove with it? And I've gotten pretty specific orders with order, time, and structure. I've gotten really, really specific orders and about what it is that I need to be doing and how it is I need to be doing it. So I'll leave that for now. No, pick it back up. That's all right. Pick it back up, you know? Yeah, I needed this tonight. Good. Welcome in, you know? So when we're talking about new order and creating new order, it takes a while to get set up because it needs to be foundation. Hello to you too. It needs to be foundation, and it needs to be constructed in a way that's good. Because how things are built, let's talk about that too. How things are built is the way that things move through the system. Say that you're building a system and you build it really quick and it's not very sturdy. Okay, well then the things that move through that system are also going to be really quick and not very sturdy. So how we build things is also kind of what moves through that space. So think about that too in your constructive mindset of what it is you want to be doing for the next 20 to 40 years. That's a long time. Again, play the long game, but yeah, goodness, you know? Is there anything else